the emotions are such a powerful part of our body, and tapping into the subconscious mind, we need the emotions to actually tap in and allow our conscious mind to communicate with our subconscious mind. And so what about somebody who is like, maybe they've had so many health problems, so many, setbacks in life. They can't even get to that emotional state. They don't believe enough in a better future for themselves. Have you worked with clients that you've had to kind of coach through this? And what are some tips you'd give people who are in that stage?
Sure. That's a great question. And I first think it's important to acknowledge the fact that everyone is on such different health journeys and people have their own level of challenges, right? So part of it is acknowledging the very circumstances and challenges and hardships that person has been through. And to be mindful that you can't ask someone to go from that state of mind and really that state of existence that they've had to deal with, and then put them in this state of blissed out Zen, you're doing amazing, everything's awesome, right?
Sure.
It's too big of a change because the first tip I would say is don't try to bridge too big of a gap. Because the subconscious mind is going to give you what it loves, and that's resistance. And that resistance will feed your fear. And that resistance will feed lack of confidence and make you think, this is ridiculous. Why would I even think that I'm capable of doing anything? So the main thing that I encourage clients to focus on when they're struggling, right? They're in a really bad spot. They don't know if something's going to work, is they have to first ask themselves, what can I control in this moment? They might be dealing with chronic pain. They might be dealing with injuries. They may have metal in their body. They may have had 5 surgeries that have all failed. But I would first encourage them to ask themselves, what can they control? Because when someone is feeling chronic pain, chronic health issues, it does feel like life is out to get them, right? It feels like life is out of control. I have to acknowledge that as a coach, because if I don't, it doesn't validate them, right? You have to validate your emotions. You have to validate how you feel. But if you linger in them, that's what feeds the story. So part of how I help patients or clients get out of that is to ask, okay, what can you control in this moment? It may be controlling the fact that I can stand for 1 minute and grab a glass of water. Right? The fact that I can walk for 5 minutes before I feel completely exhausted. The fact that I can at least sleep for 1 hour without having to get up because the pain's waking me up. So the very things that someone could feel as a limitation because it's not optimal, it's not 8 hours of sleep, or they can't walk 2 hours like they used to, rather than use their limitations to further perpetuate frustration, they can use those limitations and reframe them and say, I can control this. I know my body is capable of this. I am able to do this. I'm able to watch this show that makes me happy. I'm able to pick up the phone and talk to this person because they make me feel loved. So when you can first find some control, then you can find some certainty that you're not letting your health or your life purely up to what life has thrown at you. Sure. When you can then do that, then you have an opportunity to recognize and create micro changes and micro moments of growth, right? A health journey for most people, myself included, athletes I work with included, is a process that is over the course of our lifetimes. Yet we're taught to expect instant gratification, which is where that feeds into frustration when people are like, I'm not going to get better. Mm-hmm. So when you can create some grace in the process and build some control as a foundation, then you can find every single day, what's a micro moment? What's a micro change? What is one little thing that I saw that was just a tiny bit better today? And by doing so, what you'll recognize is that if you do this and you document it and you chart what those little changes are, you start to look back over a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, a year, and you can see how where you were in day 1 is so different from day 365. It's like the whole idea of get 1% better every day. So if you can train your brain to control and then search for those micro changes, that's what gives people not hope, because if you're giving hope, you're still putting that into someone else. I'm hopeful, I'm waiting, but it gives them control. So no matter where someone is on their journey, whether they're training for a competition or they just want to walk without some pain, find the control first, and then you can create change on your terms and find those small wins.